I got the main man, my co-host, founder and CEO of RGTX Logistics Solutions, Jeff Dickerson. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. Boy, this week is going by like, I don't know, too fast for me. But
Too fast, too furious, Tokyo Drift style.
it's crazy good, I guess. Usually it slows down right now, and I did say it was getting slow. I think I said that it was pretty slow, like at the beginning of the week, but man,
Yep.
things picked up.
Things
Not
picked
that
up
I'm
and everything.
complaining.
Not that he's complaining, just like our intro. Let's go.
That's
Welcome to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Good morning, Lisa. So happy to see you. DJ,
Hey,
my
Lisa.
man. Good morning, DJ. Happy to see you. Jeff, I think, as we kind of said, it's been busy and things like that. Different things that's our industry, right? Today, I want to reflect on what the year has been individually for us, because, we had last week, we had Dean. He talked about, hey, what logistics is next year with the big R word and all that stuff, and we've had all that stuff. And I think, you and I have come so far, this year, especially on Chatter,
Yeah.
with different things. So I just really want to do a year in review, and I want to hear everybody else's year in review. You what's worked for you guys, what hasn't worked, and some things that you're extremely proud of, And for me, the number one thing I'm proud of, and we're not gonna. I think we'll keep it kind of the sales chatter is really coming on the show and kind of like open up the experiences to talk to different people, to understand different perspectives, learn about branding, learn about leadership, learn about taking two choices from our boy Rico and things like that. And, for me, just coming on here and putting myself out there, just like with yourself. And it's the reason why we're actually having this conversation today is because I was on YouTube yesterday and one of our old videos came up like as a recommended thing. So it was like one of our first videos that you and I just did together. And I was like, holy crap, we really came like really far from that, right? So
Okay.
for me, the number one thing for me is like really coming on here, kind of open up myself. It's open up a bunch of opportunities, even in logistics and outside of that. Like I said, last Friday, I'll be doing like my first videographer paid gig next year. So it's actually in 2 weeks. So I'm excited about that. So it's always about talking about like the what's worked and what hasn't worked, and let's have that genuine conversation. So Jeff, sales chatter. What has sales chatter done for you?
Oh my God, man. It's just, I got to laugh. It was like, it felt like yesterday, right? And DJ can definitely back me up on this. Let's go back to January of this year, right? And then look at where we are right now. I mean, it was like a flash. I mean, a complete flash. I used to come on every Wednesday morning on Data Day. Dan invited me. And, we hit it off, and it was every week, Wednesday from 9 until 10, 11 months later, down the road, what happened to be just a 1 day a week episode for me became a 5 day a week, due to the unfortunate circumstances with Dan, and then DJ moving on, and then you jumping in, and then getting the offer from you guys to do it full time. I mean, I was there, for months on end, almost every single day, and it was just wow. Yeah, I definitely want to do this because, man, I've been on board. Lisa will tell you, we've been on board, man, for a long time. And it's just crazy, cray, man, that it went by this fast. And it has been an adventure, to say the least, Ryan. It has been, all the good guests that we've had on, the conversations that we've had, the doors that have opened for me. I wouldn't say just business, but I'd say on the personal side. And now, now I'm going to be a co-host on Hold My Beer. I've been on Trey's show. I've been on the Life by the Mile podcast. I mean, things are just like crazy. My business has exploded, doing more work. I mean, I love this stuff, for many years. I've been in it, and it's just, It's never a dull moment, man. It's just absolutely crazy, and I got so many good things happening next year. I'm sure you do too. I'm going to be building my personal brand. I'm doing a new website as well. New clients coming on board, new lanes. You know, my partnership is growing. Things are just going at a real rapid pace, and I'm just so fortunate to still have it and still going strong in it, because it's just, I laugh every day, man. My wife always tells me every time she walks in the office, why are you always laughing? You know, why are you Mike always laughing? That's my partner, and she says, you know, it's great to see you laugh again, because I mean, a long time ago, I wasn't like that, the
Mm.
happy person. I love doing this business, but it's just crazy good. It's just
Yeah.
crazy good, man. How about yourself, man? I know you've done a lot of stuff, you know. We've talked about it. You've got a pretty chaotic schedule as well. I mean, have
Yeah,
at it, my friend.
yeah, for me, it's like we said, man, like from like January to now, just touching back, and I do want to thank Dan for the opportunity, because I was just like you and Lisa, being in the comments, watching it all the time, and
Yeah,
making sure it was etched out in my calendar, every day, to kind of see DJ and things like that, and it's like I said, this opportunity has opened up so much, like being able to be more confident. Like I said, I do a lot of video prospecting now, so after I finish up this podcast every day, I make sure and go and send to brand new customers, or existing customers and things like that, because I have that. You got that, like, dopamine, right? You got that little rush from like doing an episode with people. So for me, it's next year. It's funny that you actually mentioned that, like for things that happen in the next year. I've already put in like the habits and the goals I want. Today, I'm actually solidifying the systems that are going to get me where I want to get to. So what does
right.
that look like for me, right? Everyone wants to talk about losing weight. I do want to drop a couple pounds. Today, I'm going to be working on the actual system. So whether it be how much water I got to drink every day, what my workout routine looks like, what basically putting in the stuff, because from Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books ever, from James Clear, he says, forget goals, work on the systems, and the systems will get you to your goals. Right. So just like you
Sure.
kind of said, like we talked offline, what you're talking about, like your customer growth and things like that. And Jeff, I don't know if this has happened to you, and this is not a brag or anything like that. We're all friends here. I've
Yeah.
had like custom prospects that I've reached out to, and they've known who I was. And like for me, it's like, what the hell? Like, how would you know that? Like, we're connected on LinkedIn, but nobody checks it. But like, yeah, you're on that podcast, or I saw this about you, or that post about you. And the one thing is that as long as you keep posting, with Gunnar saying yesterday, don't worry about like having to know logistics stuff, because for that, like the Jason Millers, you got the Dean Crooks, you got those guys who could get into the actual data and the science. But just be yourself, make posts, and let
Yeah.
people find out who you are.
That is it. You know, it's that personal branding, right? That we've talked about many times with different people this past year. And it's so true. You know, I love the platform. I love this, to speak my thoughts and my beliefs, and just let people know who I am. I mean, TJ Knutson from Hold My Beer, you know, he gave me a call out of the blue, and he says, yeah, uh, Mike it's Mem, right? I think
Mimi,
it is.
Mimi.
Mimi. You know, he talked about this, that, and everything, you know, and that's the reason why I reached out to you. And I'm like, it's just so funny how like yourself, you get around, I get around, you know, all good ways. You know, it's crazy, man. It's just really crazy. You know, it's the I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, and actually, let's just stick on that topic a little bit. So, can you tell the viewers a little bit more about Hold My Beer, when it is, what's going to come on, and what the premises of it? So, in case we're not going to be airing at the same time, so you don't have to worry
No,
about
no,
picking one or
you're
the
not
other.
gonna be.
But
No, no,
let the
no.
viewers know, my brother.
Yeah. And thanks for that. You know, it's up in the air right now. We're working on it. I can tell you that. It's going to air, or relaunch, I should say, on January 5th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're just going to have down to earth conversations, as real as it gets. The questions I know are going to be good for everybody to hear out there. I mean, our beliefs, we have many different, we have the broker, we have the carrier, we have the shipper, service provider, or carrier. It's just going to be like, just like a round table of thoughts that will help, people, shippers, everybody in the industry, of what each one of us face. And we're going to be doing it every single week. The other thing is that we're going to do a live show as well. Someplace in the United States, we don't know where it's going to be, but we're going to do
Nice.
it at a show or convention or something like that. So, I mean, it's all in the works. We're talking about it every single day because it's right around the corner, man. Next Thursday, so it's going to be interesting, and I welcome the opportunity to join those guys. They're a bunch of really good guys, and I look forward to working with them.
Yeah, and just gonna like just networking, as DJ was kind of saying, and that's the one big thing is networking and understanding that where we are in life is where we're supposed to be. We're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. So don't try to rush things or say like, "Oh my god, I haven't hit this yet." Like, things happen for you, not to you, right? And I actually had a discussion last night with my wife. She's an avid reader, and she was reading this book by, I believe, Eckhart Tolle. He's like the author of Power of Now and The New Earth Awakening, I believe. And she was actually saying that to me because like I was talking to her about my specifics and wanting to go into monk mode, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But it's something that I want to personally do for at least the next 6 months. And she was like, you're at the right path that you're supposed to be. And everybody who kind of comes into your life, not to get spiritual here, but you kind of signed like a soul contract with them, right? So you and I meeting here, our souls kind of like sign that contract. We don't even know about this, but we were going to meet here. Me and DJ, we're like, Maggie and things like that. So it's understanding the process and understanding for different things. And I shared my vision board with you once I made it a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago, things like that. And, for me, it's not about having like possessions. It's about making change in the world and being a better person. Because I saw a post this morning, Boris, the guy who makes all the memes on LinkedIn,
yeah,
he sponsored like a school dance or something like that in Macedonia, and
nice.
they put a video and just to kind of see that impact. And for me, that's the impact I want to leave, those
Yes,
memories of doing things for people. And obviously you guys know what I do with dogs and all that stuff, and kind of
yeah.
translating that, right? But professionally, Jeff, this year 2000, I know people always say new year, new me, or whatever, but it's something that's truly important to me, that I'm literally gonna work as much as I can to make this the best year of my life, but while enjoy it. Like, I'm not the 18 to 20 hour guy, work day guy. I'm just not that person, right? But I have a team behind me that supports me and able to have that correspondence there. But just being an ongoing learner, because I've learned so much from you, from our conversations and things like that, and just be an ongoing student, because when you think that you know everything, that's when you know nothing, right? So I want to talk a little bit more. So like we talked, like you got your show coming up next week as well. You're doing amazing. The business. Talk a little bit about your business, man. I know that you got your partner. I know you got your ex-boss who's working for you and stuff like that. Just really quickly, just kind of like give us a little summary of what 2022 in a nutshell has been for you, for your business itself.
It's been steady. Sure, we had our ups and downs, just like anybody else. Anybody that said they had such a stellar year and then nothing went wrong, is BSing for sure. Look, we went through a lot of obstacles, especially in the beginning of the year. I mean, it hit us all. Anybody that says different, we need to have a conversation, because it was a tough beginning of this year with all the disruptions. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Peak season came a lot sooner than what a lot of people thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be complete mayhem. If you recall, I said it's going to be explosive come the fourth quarter. We're going to be in deep shit, so to speaking. That didn't come to fruition, and I'm glad I was wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but just all the indicators, and then the issues that came up. I've always, for myself and my career, I've always looked at the what if scenarios. I think you need to look at those things before they happen, so that you can put yourself in position A, so when they do happen, that you can quickly respond and have a solution for that, whatever it may be. And that's different for every organization out there in business structure and how they work. They know better than anybody else what possible things can come up. don't leave it until the last minute, man. If you just have that foresight and you have that gut feeling, look at it now. Think about all the solutions that you can implement it to fend them off or get on top of it before it happens. It's critical in your business and being able to move it forward in the direction that you want. I was fortunate. My business has grown substantially. I've got a lot of stuff that's happening in the new year. I keep on saying this. I don't make many calls, man. I don't make many calls, and my business is growing because I know how to do that. Been that shipper, I just feel so sorry for those shippers out there that get hammered. I really do. I'm just being dead honest here, Ryan. These guys get hammered so many times during the day and week and month. It's absolutely crazy. I was one of them, and I'm saying this seriously. I hate brokers. I am a broker, but I hate them because I just wish they would be better at their skill, and getting that knowledge so that they don't put those shippers in that position, of creating a bad day. Oh no, not another one. Oh my God, he doesn't even know who I am, so forth and so on. It's just crazy. So I'm trying to figure out a different way of approaching them to make them feel that, the phone calls, if I do make it, or somebody says something about me and introduce me to someone that, I know what to say that's meaningful, that doesn't put them in a position that I don't want to talk to that guy again. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just everybody has their own thing. So
Everyone, yeah, and that's the one thing I've loved. That's the big thing I've actually learned from this whole experience. Really, is that there's really no blueprint. There really
there is
is none. Like everybody could find their own way, and that's the one thing that we kind of stress to people. Because if you were to come out and be like, okay, this is the way that you're supposed to do things, and you tell people how to exactly do things, it's not going to be the way that they do things.
no.
It's not going to. It might not be not necessarily sit with their ethics if they're like, I don't want to do this or things like that. So the one thing is that, like we always kind of say, always kind of be evolving, always kind of seek out that out. And that actually is a great segue to next week. We got the Freight Sensei, who's the director of training and agent
Yes.
development at Armstrong Transportation Group, Scott
Yeah.
Wannabe. And he's
Yep.
going to be, we're talking about like training that desire to win. And knowing that from different personalities, right? Because let's say if both of us came on the show and we said the exact same thing, right? Like I'm the opposite in terms of like I make a bunch of calls because I like that
Yeah.
and I like having those conversations. But let's say we both came here and we're the exact same person, we wouldn't give value to the viewers because we'd only have that one mindset. With us having different mindsets and having Dan coming into here, even DJ coming into here, and Dean kind of giving us a data and things like that. As we kind of mentioned, like we talked about business, we talked about professional, we talked about even ourselves itself. What's one thing that you did for yourself this year, personally, just for yourself? And we'll get into family and stuff like that. But what's one thing that you did for yourself that worked out, and you're excited, you're happy that you did?
I'm just being honest. Nothing. I mean, I'm
Mm.
being serious. I did not respect myself. I put others forward. I've always been that type of person, and it took a toll on me. It really did. I'm not saying that because I was stressed out in this area and everything, but I got so involved in my business, I left myself out of the picture. If that makes any sense, um, one of the things that I'm going to do next year is that, I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to go swimming. I'm going to do some stuff for me, always thinking about others and my business, of course, but I've got to really start taking care of myself. I know it. I just don't do it. If that makes any sense, you
Of
have
course.
that feeling every day that you wake up, that something's missing. I know what that thing is missing, and I used to be in damn good shape, but this last year, maybe 2 years, actually, since the pandemic,
Mm.
I just let myself go, and it's like, um, I should be better at that. I really should, So, um, the takeaway, I know what needs to be done. The worst thing is that I didn't do it this whole year, and I suffered from it. So hey, it's those things that you have to prioritize, when your health is probably, if not the first thing that you should be taking care of, always. And I was a big preacher of that, except over the last 2 years. So, yeah. Yep. Not happy about it. Not happy
No, but you
about
know
it.
what? It's because even it's crazy because there's something that I think about that, like I know that was something that you did for yourself that I thought was really remarkable. I remember that time that you took vacation. I think you and your wife went away, and you talked about having that big pad and just writing work and reading and things like
Oh,
that.
I
And
did.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I
yeah,
did.
so even that alone, was
Yeah.
what was like kind of like a getaway for me. And I'll ask
It
you
was
this. So like,
business stuff. It was
I
a
guess
business vacation, because I just didn't, that Corona commercial where they're sitting in those Adirondack chairs and they've got their cocktails and the phone rings and the guy takes and he just throws it into the ocean. You
yeah.
know, not that I'm going to do it, but that's the approach that I really need to do is like just back the hell away
Just put
and
the phone
just
in the safe. You don't need to throw it in the ocean.
yeah,
Just
I know, right, right, and just back away and just withdraw, if that makes anything, just withdraw from the business, and take that much needed time, just to have the clear mind and everything. Because every place I go, man, I always have a pad of paper, a pen, and I'm always writing shit down. It's just like, wow, and it's like that instant thing when something pops up in your head. If you don't write it down, you're gonna forget about it. Kind of, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like,
100%.
yeah,
And
that was a great idea. What the
yeah,
hell?
you always think about that. I always keep a notepad by my bed, like by just in case, because you always kind of think about that. But switch it up for you. I got and I'll say mine. What was one purchase you made this year that's boosted your productivity? For me, it's been this microphone. Just grabbing this microphone here, being able to come on the show, have like a good setup. My camera, I've always had this camera, but getting the lighting, and just kind of just wanting to like have a nice background for when I make videos and things like that. That
Yep.
has like boosted my productivity as opposed to coming on and be like, "Hey guys," things like that. But what's one purchase this year, and even for everybody in the audience, like what's one purchase this year has boosted your productivity?
Yeah. I would say what I'm looking at right now, 427-inch monitors, my laptop, my Razer camera, my Yeti microphone right behind me. What I'm going to do is I want to put a 55-inch screen over there with live data that's feeding daily. So I get my finger on the pulse every single day. So this way, I know what's happening in the market like that. That's something that I want to do, running off my system. So I was looking at also a curvature screen, like a
Nice.
42 or 55-inch curvature screen, because I like multitasking, man. I am definitely a tasker. Even when I'm on the podcast, man, I got my four screens up. Anything that pops up, I'm able to go and take care of it instantaneously. So that's why you see my eyes going all over the place, because stuff's happening. And as long as I know my partner is doing it. So I would say that, being on top of it and purchasing the right tools in order to get the job done as quickly as possible was probably the biggest purchase. I can't live off a laptop alone. Just can't do it. And I know I need more monitors because I know the way I work. So
Yeah, and it's
how
those
about
things
you?
that
How about you? I mean, besides what you bought, what was, did you buy any programs, apps, or anything like
I love
that?
that you said that. Thank you for bringing that up because that actually brings up something. So, if anybody knows in the crowd, that there's this website called Skillshare. Basically, it's a database of online courses that you can take, and you have courses on literally every single thing that you can think of.
Oh, it's on
So check it
LinkedIn.
out. Sorry.
Is that on LinkedIn?
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no. This is a
you
completely
have to.
Skillshare. No, no, not on LinkedIn. I wouldn't do a
Oh, okay.
LinkedIn course. So yeah, Skillshare is an actual database, just like Udemy. If anyone's familiar
Yeah.
with Udemy, and I gifted myself a 12-month membership to Skillshare, and every day I've just like the latest one I've been doing is actually on personal branding. From this top YouTuber, Ali Adabasi, I believe his name was, but just kind of learning different things and like for me, like I said this at the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of books because like I kind of I don't retain it, but it was my mindset that I always was on this. I'm always like doing one thing or the other. So for me, being present, being available, and not necessarily being on my phone, that's one thing that I'm constantly working on.
Yeah.
Not there yet, but I
Me neither.
definitely will be. But it just goes to show you that as much as our cell phones can bring us so much convenience, it could bring us the biggest distraction that it can be, right? So I think those are the soft skills. So Skillshare for me, brother, has been the biggest one. Just working
Nice.
on things like I'll take like random courses, like I'll do the personal branding one, but it's not necessarily all business. Like I'll take like a guitar one. You guys see the two guitars in my background, and I love music and things like that. So just learning different perspectives and understanding that. But for me, Jeff, my big thing that I want to get into is obviously keep crushing my goals in logistics. I definitely want to go down the videographer route. I think I have a lot of fun being creative and having that outlet to like make some really, really cool stuff. So, it's about having those things that make you set your soul free. And I
Yeah.
don't know about you, Jeff, but one thing that I didn't know that was a distraction to me was like kind of like social isolation because we work from home, right? So being able to like go out and do things because like there's times where like I'll be at home like all 7 days and we'll just go out and do errands like groceries and all that stuff. But I've realized I need to go do things, go whether it be Toastmasters or go to my local community center and join a class or something like that, just to get that social interaction with people again. Because we get so, I don't know if it was COVID or anything like that, but it's like these conversations that
I'm
we have
sure I
are
had a part of
genuine.
it.
Yeah, it's like, I want to be able to like have conversations with different people of all walks of life, just not logistics. Because right now, all I talk to people is like my family, my friends, and then all I talk is like to logistics people. So I want to kind of broaden that audience a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I go out every single weekend. My wife and I, we try to do that every weekend. Just go someplace. I'm not sure where it is. It's just like, you get a bowl and you put things in it, and you go, okay, pick one out. Oh, really? We're going here, kind of
Except
deal.
sushi.
Yeah, no, except sushi, man. No, no way. But yeah, I don't know. I get like a how can I say this? It's great being on here and talking to people and then getting phone calls from people and just talking to them on the phone and everything. Yeah, I like that personal interaction with people, being there and having a handshake or a hug or whatever it is, and just talking about family, logistics. It's always logistics with me, man. I
Oh,
know, I
that's
know
good.
what you're feeling. It's just like, because everything I see, it's almost like, hey, you know how this cup got here? Hey,
Oh, you're that guy.
oh,
Here comes
I mean,
Jeff, the logistics guy.
yeah, and it's just so funny. It's like we get on this, and then my brain it's just geared in there, and just to help people understand what the heck is going on and how we get the things that we do. It's just in my blood, man. And no, it's very very hard to separate that. But I found it's really funny. If we were in Mexico or down in Florida or wherever, you're sitting at a bar and having somebody brings up logistics. It's just
Yes.
like, what the, I mean, it's just,
Your ear perks up. You're so right.
yeah, it's just like if somebody brings it up, or you just happen to sit down next to a person or, man or woman, and you start this and you just, the conversation opener. So what do you do for a living? Oh, no, oh, I'm a director of this DC. It's like, no way. It's just like, why can't you be like an owner of a beauty salon or something like that? Tell me something different.
But
I
then they'll
mean,
talk to you about their
I
supply
don't
chain
know,
issues.
man. It's like it's funny, but it's so true. You said that our souls and our lives are already created for us, and we're supposed to be here in the moment. It's funny. The same thing holds true when you're walking. I mean,
Yes.
the biggest thing I ever had in my life, which was really strange, and that's why I've always told people this. I live in New Jersey. I was in San Francisco on business, and I'm walking down near the wharfs down there to go out to dinner with one of my customers. And this person just walks by, and they go, "Hi, Jeff," and I was like,
Fuck.
"What the
Oh,
like this?" And right, and I looked at the dude, and I did business with him like a long time ago, and then his name came up, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
it's
it's
funny.
just
I'm looking at my US map right now, and it's like literally cross country. You're literally going like from New Jersey to California and San Fran, and you met somebody that you do.
it was crazy. It's just one of those things that things just pop up you're not asking for it, you don't want it, you know what I mean? And then it happens, and then you're in it. I mean, I don't know. It's been
It's
like that
crazy.
for
Like, you know,
years for
it's
me.
it's it's I love that you bring that up because like it's so true. Like, you know, with that the whole soul contract and thing like that. And even me meeting Dan was crazy because I went to an event, our work sponsored an event, but I was only 2 weeks into this company. So they basically paid for all the sales reps to go into his, and then me and Dan hit it off. But then I think about, had I been a seasoned rep at this company already, if his stuff would have resonated with me, you know, if I already had some customers under my belt, if I already had some things and mindset and things, because in the first 2 weeks you got your non-compete, so you can't go after your previous customers and things like that. So you're really starting fresh, right? You're trying to figure out like their culture, how their system is, like how do I book vacation, you know, like certain things like that. You're trying to figure out with the company, and it's like everything happens for a reason. So like it's me and Dan, we hit it
True.
off from there, and then we kind of became like great friends, and obviously we're here on this show now because of that. But it's like I always kind of think about like, what if I was like 6 months? What if I was a year already into that company? I probably would have not like really like cared about it because like I've got my own shit going on, right? So
Right.
everything kind of happens for a reason.
It does. I really believe in it. It's not like you're looking for it to happen. It just happens. And
Mm,
you're like, you say to yourself subconsciously, I didn't ask for this. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's like, but it's here. So what do I do with it? It presented itself. So what do I do for it? I didn't ask for this, And then it's like, okay, it's either a godsend or it was just meant to be.
yeah,
I mean, we becoming friends, DJ and I becoming friends, Dan, TJ. I mean, the list can just go on and on. John Brewer. I mean, it's just these things that just happens to come up, and it doesn't always have to be business. I mean, I think that's the problem with a lot of these hotshot kids that are out there. They can't go and meet somebody without trying to do business with them. I mean, some of the best friendships that I've had have been with possible customers that I could have done business, but I chose not to do and just became good friends with them. And we
yeah.
just bang stuff off our heads. I mean, it's happened to me for years and decades, and what more can you ask for, man? I mean, it's just like things that are supposed to happen, let it happen, and things that aren't, well, go to the other side and become really, really good friends. You don't have to be business partners or anything like that. We all have them in our life when we're growing up and we're kids. We have best friends,
Yeah.
BFFs, and all
Yeah.
of that. We don't know what we're going to do in life. It's the same thing here, man. You
That's the
can
exact
still
thing.
be
And I
friends
think
and you're
LinkedIn is like opened that up a bit, right? Because for it, like I remember when I joined LinkedIn like 6 years ago, like this was, I was intimidated because I'm like, what the hell is this? They said it's like the Facebook for business people. So obviously like you can't really post certain things and things like that. And you're just really on that company centric, you know, like, hey, we've got 50 new trucks joining us. Let's share it, you know, reach out if whatever. But it's like now we've seen, especially during COVID and seeing that boost, like people are human. And when you treat people as human, that relationship is going to be genuine, you know? So like, even for me,
think
like
it
I've
all
had
changed
conversations.
though. I think it changed because of the pandemic. Sometimes I think of it that even though it was horrendous, it was almost like something had to happen to change people's perspective on life as it is and not take things for granted. Because every single day that we wake up, we think that things are going to happen that way. And then all of a sudden the pandemic, now you don't have your friends. You can't go out the door. You
Yeah.
can't go in any place that you used to go in. The doors were literally shutting in your face and you were left out in the cold, literally. And then this here, what we have, this is how we
Yeah.
communicated and everything. And our adaptability, we were
What?
chameleons. We
I
adapted to
loved
the
it though.
environment, you
I
know?
loved it though because like, you know, like as you said, I'm a very video person. So
Yeah,
how many times have we done like phone calls prior to COVID that wasn't video? You know, we did all just
right.
straight phone calls and things like that, or a text. So you never knew what like who cares about the picture, right? Like that's just their best picture they took. But you couldn't see their body language and things like that. Like you said, you couldn't go into in-person meetings.
No,
Those DCs were closed, you know, like there was nobody in the office. Like I still have customers that are not going back into an office, period, you know, so they're always working from home. They're always going to, but we do have those video chats and things like that. But
yeah.
as we're getting ready to wrap up here, Jeff, I just thought about this, and I'm going to ask it to you. I asked it to Gunner yesterday to close the show. Really quickly, top 3 habits that every person, whether it be sales, whatever, every person should have going into 2023.
Um, to be consistent every single day when you wake up. If you write it down, do it. It's like ISO. Do what you say what you do, say what you do what you say, and document it, and follow that routine every single day and mirror that image. Take the best part of you that day and multiply it the next day, and so forth and so on, and you'll get to where you need to be. Um, have empathy. Um, Forgive people, and be the best person that you can be. Don't fake it to make it and try to be someone that you're not. Whatever niche, or maybe you don't know what your niche is, you're just doing it to create revenue. Really sit down and think about what you're really, really good at, and it's not that easy. It's easy for me to say, but really sit down and say, you know what, Bob, this is what I'm good at,
Mhm.
and write it down and stay on that path, and don't derail yourself, because when you're trying to be a jack of all trades and take everything on, you're going to fail miserably, and people out there are not going to know who Bob is,
Yeah.
because you're trying to really diversify yourself, and you're not pigeonholing yourself. I mean, it's great to have all this knowledge and be able to, expand it, but everybody knows what they're good at, or if they don't, seriously, it's time to sit back, take a couple days, and say, what the hell do I do? Seriously, what is
Yeah.
that value that
What
I
impact
offer?
that
What
value?
differentiates me from others? I mean, it's critical for 2023. It really is.
Perfect. So, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning to Sales Chatter. We had tons of fun talking about our year in review. Check the replay again at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Tomorrow, we'll be getting in with a guest tomorrow, Jet Stubbs. She'll be talking to us a little bit about kind of continuing our conversation that we kind of had today, and listening about her story as well. And then we got Friday wins and lessons, the last one for the
That's
year.
fun.
So, it's the last one. New Year's is creeping up on us. So, enjoy, everybody. Be safe and have yourself a